I could actually work this in. Alright, so we got the coordinates matched up, making sure that everything is running in proper order. We're going to type in the coordinates now and send. We will now begin the in-character universe. Welcome. Well, we are establishing connection now. Everything is under control. Expect a bit of dimensional interference with the instruments that we had, but I'm pretty sure we've managed to get a nice connection with our special guest, Aike Signe. I'm gonna have to get used to this. But without further ado, let's activate the holo stage. Aike Signe. Activating holo stage now. All right. Let me get some instruments working on the way now, and we should be good to go. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. Hi, everybody.
And hope the traffic wasn't too bad. I mean, with dimensions and all, it kind of does seem a little bit difficult to navigate through.
Nothing I can't shrug off.
Hey, that's a hallmark of an experienced pilot. Gotta be able to navigate through even the most narrow of situations.
Oh, moving around.
Yep. Just want to be sure that everybody's nice and toasty around the campfire. Should have brought marshmallows, though.
Yeah, I was definitely a little close before, but you know, dimensional travel is still burgeoning science.
Yeah. But without further ado, can you introduce yourself to the crowd?
Hello, everybody. My name is Aike Signe. I'm a luck dragon, kind of stuck in my human form for right now, but probably better with where I'm at. I have a sort of a vested interest in mecha, seeing as it's a huge deal where I come from, and so I've been streaming a lot of that while I kind of look for a way home.
Mm-hmm. And how would you say that mecha has helped you or influenced you to kind of continue your journey?
Well, I mean, I'm again trying to find a way home, and building portals is a lot of mechanics, so
Mm-hmm.
It's been helpful in that, and also just it's like a taste of home, you know. If I can keep building these model kits, it is weird that this reality just has almost exact replicas. I mean, I literally can build the suit I used to fight in. It's really weird. Uh, Made of plastic. I don't know what y'all are up to here.
Um,
But no, it's been nice, kind of. It's really eased my mind a lot. It's easy to get homesick when you're not even from the reality you're in.
mm-hmm. I can understand that. It's very tough to really get used to that feeling of being somewhere else when you have something that kind of reminds you of home.
Yeah, it keeps me grounded,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of fun. Keeps my hands busy.
Yeah, that's the best way in order to kind of get around it. Just feel like you're doing something productive.
You're a pilot, you get it.
Yep. Well, mostly an engineer, also by trade, but that also helps in like understanding how model kits work.
Well, not just model kits. I mean, I do have my own. It's funny you bring up engineering. I do have my own sort of engineering group. We call ourselves Midas Touch. We've been working on custom suits for other people stuck in different realities, or other. What do we call it on Earth right now? VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting. A lot of people have some weird design quirks that are hard to fit into a robot for themselves, especially in the control section. You know, you find somebody with 3 arms, 7 eyes, and a tail. There's a lot of controls you got to make work.
Yeah. No, I guess with a bit more analysis and maybe a bit of elbow grease and ingenuity, we can make even the most outlandish forms work in any kind of mech. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm here with 2 arms. It's the easiest one.
And we could always give the mechs 4 arms anyway, so that works out. So, I do have a few questions here and there, just mostly relating to some of the things that I've researched. So,
Perfect. Yeah, I'm happy to answer anything.
okay, so first of all, we kind of came across information about how the dragons came to be. Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on their existence?
Well, I mean, there's a lot there, but I mean, kind of hard to say existence present when I'm, as far as I know, the last one. Came to be. I mean, if my parents are to be believed, we've been here since, or at least, well, been on our version of Earth for, I mean, since the magma flows were still everything that there was. I remember in my own youth watching people crawl out of the soup, so to speak. But if you mean coming to be, I don't know where I'm from. It's more of a matter of human wizards found portals, things happened. I don't know if you've met humans or not. They're pretty bad at managing things like magic.
Yeah.
But coming to be in general, we really don't actually know that much. I know I came to be from just what we call it union. It's not really like mating, from the union of my parents' own magical forces.
Mm-hmm. So,
Basically forged, not really born.
yeah, that's interesting. So does that also kind of translate to the powers that you have?
Yeah, so a lot of what goes into how a dragon is created, where I come from, is the kinds of magic their parents have. So if it's something like creation magic, then you'll end up with powers like mine, where instead of the breath weapon being, fire, ice, lightning, there's mud breath. Mud breath is very funny. It instead will be sort of transformative. So like mine turns people to gold. In my universe, Midas was a cruel prank. I feel bad about it every day.
Well, I'm pretty sure that gold breath does get some other uses too, right?
Yeah, you might notice the markings on me. Those are all actually scarification. When I've become injured, I will occasionally cover it up with these marks, and if I breathe that dust on it, it just hardens immediately and heals.
Oh, that's a pretty smart way of recovery.
Yeah, thankfully nothing huge has happened yet. You can see where my arm was cut off at one point, and now I have that band there.
Mm-hmm. Was it from a fight that you've been into, or something else?
It was from my own shoddy building when I was first learning to make suits, actually.
Oh.
I made sleeves for controls and didn't check the pressure on them and ripped my own arm off.
Ow.
It sucked a lot. Yeah, ow!
Yeah. Oh, don't think I want to experience having my own arm lopped off in any kind of mechanical incident, especially since I don't have insurance.
I mean, I could pop back, grab a sword, show you what it's like if you want, but I don't think you'd like it.
Yeah, I think I want to avoid that at all costs. So, better practice PPE and stuff. So, going back to the gold breath as well, have you ever kind of used it for any kind of like sales or other forms of trickery?
So the gold does fade eventually, unless it's on, again, like I can do this. That's kind of a thing unique to me, the whole injury thing. But the gold on like objects or people does fade eventually. Even these on me, I have to keep these markings up myself every few months or so. So sales, no, I've never done that. People occasionally will ask me to do it, and it's a neat little parlor trick I don't mind doing.
Mm-hmm. So no unsavory individuals tried to utilize your powers for anything malicious or something that would probably get you in trouble?
People have tried to resell things that have been doused in my breath, and they usually get caught a few months later. People who don't really know about me will obviously just think that like they were sold something gold-plated that eventually faded. But gold plating does not work that way, guys. If it fades after a few months, that wasn't gold-plated, that was magic.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty
but
sure.
no, for the most part, no.
So, does your gold breath actually function the same way like our Earth's gold, or?
Well, the gold the gold that coats you, yes, it's very similar. It has a higher melting point. That's really the only difference.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's not as malleable or conductive.
No, oh yeah, I say it has a higher melting point, which does make it less malleable. But otherwise, it's like just as easy to tarnish, just as easy to kind of work with. I guess like it would suck to be a person turned into it because I could just punch you hard enough and it would probably put a dent in you. But I haven't tried that yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I've always gone straight to death in those circumstances.
I mean, there is like some aspect of neutralization, one way or another. Especially if you can kind of like turn their legs into solid gold and they can't exactly move. So
yeah, and I was gonna say it is useful for that because it is hard. I can't put out a lot of breath in this form, and we were trapped in our human forms a good few thousand years ago. But I will say, if you turn somebody's legs to gold, they will freak out for at least a second. And that's a good second. You can lop their head off.
Yep, straight for the final blow, coup d'état or coup de grace, or however it's.
It's a coup de grace.
Right.
Coup de grace is a finishing blow.
Mm-hmm. So
a coup d'état is the actual rebellion itself, I believe.
Ah, that's right. I gotta brush up on my French somewhere down the line.
No, you don't. It's fine. France isn't real.
Oh yeah, especially where we are. France doesn't even exist.
First thing I did on my Earth was take over France and then give it back to Germany. I just ended that conflict, that centuries-old conflict, ended it. Got rid of it.
Yep, just yeet it into some other place.
Want to know a secret?
What's up?
French people and German people, actually not real. We have no idea who the native people of those lands were because they were so thoroughly erased from history. But that means that French people are not French and German people aren't German. They're literally the same people that just got into a war like 1,000 years ago and just hate each other for it for no reason. Many of their wars were because of a letter I found out. A single letter someone made up, and they got so mad at the letter they made up that they pretended the other person said. They started a war.
Jeez.
Humans are so weird.
Yeah, we do have some interesting quirks that don't exactly make sense to any other race that
no
exists.
offense, of course. Every human is different, but like 90% of you are weirdo.
Yeah, I can say that safely. I mean, I'm not exactly pure human. I'm mostly cloned, but whatever works.
You're a clone. I'm a shape-shifting dragon that can't shapeshift. Join the club.
Yep. I might as well just start a new club then. And kind of going on to that one, have the dragons ever been involved in any kind of wars with humanity?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much why I'm here. It's two sentient species sharing a planet eventually. Usually this happens a lot. We've been doing it, interspatial travel for a long time where I come from, and This happens. When two sentient species both run a planet, oftentimes they will end up at war with over resources or some such. The thing is, humans just could not comprehend it. We really didn't need to use the same resources as them. It was fine. But they were so convinced that we were taking up natural resources, even when we constantly offered to share, offered to give. Eventually, it just fell into open conflict with a small faction, and that turned into open warfare. Open warfare, starting in what is colloquially here known as, I think, Northern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Where I come from, humans were mostly united into a few nations, mostly to kill us. I have no idea what's happening there now. Again, I can't get back, and the second I get back, things won't matter anymore.
Right. Considering that there might come a point in time where if you do ever return, maybe both races could actually be able to coexist, or just actually.
I mean, that's a possibility too. But also, what I mean is, if I get back, I'll be able to transform back. And if I can transform back, I am turning every single person to gold. I don't care. I'll do it. I'll break them all. The children can live, and I'll teach them better ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and hey, you know what? If the whole time moving differently thing happens and I get back and nobody who did that shit is still alive, fine. I'll just what do you people say? I will take the letter L.
Yeah.
I'll take the L on that one.
Yeah, that works. That works.
But otherwise, I am sorry to tell you that my plans involve omnicide.
Well, all's fair in love and war at times until the dragons start breathing fire and all the other stuff and just bathe everything into a sea of whatever is being thrown upon them.
Whatever they're breathing. Again, mud breath. Very cool. I knew two people with it. They were not really funny, but I pretended they were funny because, come on, they had mud breath. You gotta give it to them. You can't be mean to those people.
Yeah, I mean, think of the jokes. Think of all the jokes they could have.
So many poop jokes. You have no idea. I've heard so many poop jokes in my life.
I mean, considering that there might be some, like, Piscine kind of dragons.
Well, so we were, I mean, dragons made up a lot of things. I think that one thing that's lost in a lot of versions of Earth is that dragon is not really a term for exactly one thing. It actually, in most cultures, just means a great, powerful being that's sentient but beyond humanity. So what you might call Piscine dragons, we called the Leviathans. So anything that you might know is like a kraken or a sea serpent, where I come from, those were just the Piscine dragons.
Oh.
They're actually probably the friendliest of the bunch where I come from, or, well, were. Again, most of us were wiped out. Humans found magic and immediately began using it to kill us. And we weren't a warlike species. We didn't do war. I'm from the first generation of fighters of my species. Like, and I'm not even the best one. I'm just the last one. I got lucky. Kind of.
Okay. So, since we're on the topic of luck, you did mention that you have luck powers. How does it usually function?
So, I sort of create a field around me. I can't really affect my own luck that much anymore. I used to be able to in my dragon form a little bit. Most of what I do now is affect the fortunes of those around me. It depends on my mood and kind of how I feel about you. But I can either offer usually small boons or small banes. I can't, say like, oh, this will happen to you today. But if I'm in a good mood and I like you and you're around me, maybe those stairs you were going to trip over, you won't. Maybe if I don't like you and I'm in a shitty mood, your keyboard explodes. I don't know. Things just happen sometimes. Is it because of my luck powers? Is it because I have a gun? You decide. It's up to you.
So it's just pure luck.
It's pure luck. It's purely, the only really defining factor is that I can sometimes control the spread of the aura. And also, again, it only really affects people based on my mood and my mood towards them. When moods get mixed, things get a little bit weird, because if I'm in a bad mood, but I like you, and I'm happy with you, I don't know what the hell is going to happen, and I'm really sorry.
I mean, what's done is done at that point.
I do my best to contain it. It's part of why I spend a lot of time alone.
And since you mentioned that, does the luck power usually kind of exhaust you the same way as the gold breath, or...?
The gold breath super exhausts me. The luck powers can after a while. I just tell people that I'm an introvert, but really what it is that I'm literally being drained by being around people.
Classic
And
social
the more
battery.
people, exactly, I have a literal battery. Um, and like the worse it gets, the sort of more I lose control of this form because I'm still hiding my scales.
Hmm.
I'm still hiding scales and claws. I have a little bit of shapeshifting power here, and it's hard to keep that up. And I don't even see it as like a burden. I get it. I'd also be scared if I lived in a world where there were not dragons and I began walking down the street covered in scales, claws out. That would be a little bit frightening. I totally get it.
It would be, but I
Yeah, as I
guess
lose control from either of those, that can happen.
yeah. But that's something that can be either practiced or modified. Maybe. Though I don't know how it'd be practiced and modified now that I think about it. Maybe just mastering something to really. It just gives me a lot of ideas, but nothing that really comes to mind as to like how to remedy it.
Honestly, I don't see any remedy yet. I kind of enjoy the practice and discipline.
So I guess it would be done through like meditation or something that would help you ease the mind.
Yeah, I've actually been practicing a lot of meditation since I've been here. I've met a lot of people that have taught me a lot about sort of centering myself and knowing when to sort of spiritually take myself out of situations. Honestly, if humans are good for anything, it's just a lot of conscientiousness.
Yeah, it's a perfect practice in seeing what things you can kind of like not only pick apart to benefit your development, but also kind of understand what nuances are around in every different part of the world or different part of reality.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm in a whole new reality, so I've definitely been doing a lot of that. Did a lot of traveling when I first got here.
So, if we're talking about the your time in this new reality, how have you kind of shaped up your hideaway, so to speak?
Well, like I said, the gold thing's a neat parlor trick, and people will pay to see it. So I've spent a lot of time just gathering funds, and I now sort of live under my own hobby shop. I've picked up like gunpla and everything, like I said. So I've just been sort of selling that as a way to maintain my means, and I live in a basement. I used to live in a loft above the hobby shop, but I've moved downward so I can rent out if I need to. Not like in a landlord sense, in a if you need a place to sleep, you can sleep here sense. Uh, but no, shaping up, I guess like not much. As long as I have an internet connection and like a desk, I'm set. I mean, my space is literally a bed, a desk, my computer, and a shelf for my gunpla and my cards, and that's it.
Pretty simple, pretty effective. Nothing with the extra bells and whistles. Sounds like kind of like my room to a degree.
Not that I wouldn't like them. It's just that I'm not a resident here. There's no way for me to get like a social security number or anything. So I'm stretched pretty thin on expenses, just keeping everything under the table.
Right, right. Now, the Gundam that you pilot, you mentioned that you've also built it as well. Is there a particular one that stands out?
So when I first saw the Impulse series, if you know, I believe they're from the Seed series, which I've not actually watched all of. They're very close to mine back home.
Oh,
And so I have put together sort of a custom that uses a combination of that model and then the arms from, of all things, the GM, which I love the GMs, by the way. They're wonderful. I love the generic grunt suits. And then the head of, oh gosh, I can't remember. One of the strikes. It's one of the strikes with the horns curved back. You put all it together and give it Astaroth's sword, and you have what I used to pilot. I just had to paint it yellow and brown.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The Gundam Sunflower.
Ah, nice, nice. I guess that yields a lot of great performance considering the phase shift armor and neutron jammer. Well, wait.
Well, we didn't have like phase shift armor back where I'm from, but still very like close in appearance though.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, wish we had thought of that. That's
Yep. I guess it comes down to like development and stuff.
um, I can actually. I did add padding to the arms, and I don't use the GM arms anymore because I've used an updated version of it. So if I ever go back home, I'll be using a version more like this that I've just sent you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Ah.
This is the newer version of it without the GM arms, because the GM arms are nice and all, but uh,
Mm-hmm.
not quite the most. I don't know, not flashy. I want to be flashy a little.
Yeah. I guess it does also help with the demolition knife that it has too.
Yeah, the demolition knife is. I gotta say, I do love just. I'm so trained in so many things, spent a lot of time learning different weapons when we knew that war was like inevitable, but nothing beats Big Stick. Gotta say, my Earth is thousands of years ahead of the one that I'm on right now. Nothing ever beats Big Stick, guys.
Nothing.
You know what most magic is? Making magical big sticks. Nothing ever beats Big Stick. The only other thing than Big Stick is Big Rock. Humans like to think, oh, we're so advanced. Really? What are bullets? Fast rocks. What's a sword? Sharp stick. Nothing ever beats rock and stick. They're the best weapons ever.
Indeed. Like, how did it go in like that one thing in Team Fortress 2? Back then, we beat each other with sticks and rocks, and even to this day, we still beat each other with sticks and rocks.
We still beat each other with sticks and rocks. We do. Bullets are literally rocks. Listen, we used to give kids lead for fun. None of us we're sort of immune to radiation, sort of. I thought we would be totally, and then I went near something. I don't know what it's called on most Earths. On my version, it's just the elephant's ass. Some reactor melted down. Anyway, not immune, found out. Not immune. Super not immune to that. But lead? Oh no, I'm fine. I can eat lead. Not like in a morbid way, in like a cereal kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, it's all part of a somewhat balanced breakfast, right?
What is a sword but a fancy crowbar? Absolutely correct.
I mean, it does pry open organs on soft tissue, so yeah, it does do the job pretty well. Just
People will say like, okay, well, how about grenade launchers? They explode. Explode into what? More tiny sharp rocks?
I think the gunners are going to be a little bit crazy about this one, but hey, this is something we're going to have to come to terms with. And essentially, when we do come up with beam weaponry, is just...
Oh, beam weaponry? You mean the thing that fires hot sticks?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice hot stick, dude. I get it. You're compensating for what? Your body temperature? You're fine, man.
Yep.
You know, Gundam series are so funny because the one thing they get right that I can say did happen in my own universe. Eventually, everything is for beam weaponry. And everything is for resisting beam weaponry.
Yep.
Which brings us back full circle to going, fine, big stick.
Yep, exactly.
Zaku is the best design because they went, okay, everyone's ready for beam sabers and beam rifles. What if we just shoot them in the face?
Especially with machine gun bullets.
Yeah, just shoot them in the face. Totally fine. Good job. You did it.
Machine guns, rockets, and all that jazz.
There is something called the Manrodi in Iron-Blooded Orphans, and it's one of my favorite designs humans came up with, purely because of the machete it has.
Yeah.
That has a rocket booster on the back that also acts as a counterweight. Oh, it's insane. Imagine somebody hits you with a knife and it barely lodges in and you're like, haha, you didn't get me. And then a fucking rocket engine turns on. I would just give up. I'd be like, yeah, no, you win, man. You got it. Yep. I'm out. Yep. I'm on your side now, actually. Can I join your crew? Like, can I see that? I'm going to use that. That demolition knife, I'm going to put one of those on there. That's hilarious.
Yep.
Oh, but it would spin you around in space. Yes, really fast. With a sharp stick.
Just practically Tokyo drifting to someone. Just cut him in half with that one.
I can hear the Vin Diesel voiceover now.
Da, 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 da. Oh, they'll never expect this coming.
Ace, good to meet you.
It's
You are administrated with Delphinium and work with Ostarva. How do you pronounce your name? I've been saying Ostarva.
yeah, you pronounce it right.
Cool.
Because here's the funny
Um,
thing, and I'm sorry if it's just derailing from the interview, but it's almost consistent that people have either called me Utsda or Utsdarl or something to that effect. But yeah, I've been
uh,
unfortunate to not have the underscore in my name and just yeah.
I have been shortening your name to ODST just for the funniness of it, because it's so close,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my favorite. It's my favorite Halo game. It was the I think second one that I played when I got here. Video games are an incredible invention. The people of my Earth did not come up with those.
Mm-hmm. Then
The
what did
first thing they did with the microchip was get rid of it. They did not like it.
what?
Something about something called the devil. That's why we had mechs at first and they didn't at first.
Oh
They
wow.
did when I left, but they were just made of magic and crystals.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because, 1,000 years after they first invented it and got rid of it because of quote unquote the devil, which
It's
didn't
ironic.
exist there. It might exist here, I don't know, but didn't exist there. They didn't even believe in that anymore. But also when we tried to be like, hey, you made this thing a long time ago, we'd be happy to share it. They thought we were just lying.
Mm.
I gotta tell y'all, you are so not you maybe, but a lot of you are so dishonest with each other that you jump immediately to assuming everybody else is. I'm sure most people you think are dishonest are not. You're probably just paranoid.
Yep, that definitely kind of sells it out, right? If anything, it also kind of makes me understand that, like, some people, mostly in some parts of my dimension, we've had like units actually using magic, Lord of Elementals, if anything. But after a certain point, it just kind of faded out. But who
Yeah.
knows if you don't exactly use what's to your advantage, then you're bound to get crushed by someone that's going to use it much better than you.
I mean, yeah, there is always that.
Yep.
I just hope everyone can do better about these things.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work out, we could always go back to the usual big stick.
Big stick and a rock, everybody. Big stick and a rock. I use a flail. It's a big stick and a rock on a string.
Yeah. Essentially, it is. And we could also go with morning stars and all that jazz.
Yeah, the Morning Star is an interesting weapon because it's kind of like a flail, but not as fun.
Yeah. Unless if we put like like a rocket thruster, maybe something that might speed it up a little bit more.
Just change the spikes out for explosive spikes that on impact lodge into the person's like skin with like drill bits. That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Now we're just coming up with different kind of weapons together.
New ways to maim people.
Yes.
I'm feeling more human already.
That's a spirit. That's a spirit.
Do you have more questions for me, or
Well,
anyone in chat have questions for me?
I guess we got maybe one or two more questions. In terms of like shape shifting, are you able to control your appearance? Say, like turn into like fully human temporarily?
So I am able to control small aspects. I can remove the horns and tail when I wish. I can extend and shorten the tail a little bit, and as I've said already, I am hiding claws and my scales.
Hmm. But on a whim, do you ever get like a chance to like fly around with like dragon wings or
Sadly,
so
I have
much?
not been able to manifest my actual wings. Occasionally, if I get angry enough, the gold of my body, sort of, or in my body, I should say, begins to manifest outside as sort of ghostly depictions of my wings, but they don't actually function.
Hmm. Oh, so it's a nice little projection, if anything.
Yep, scares the piss out of people.
I guess
Usually literally, which is pretty annoying.
that's a lot of cleanup duty. That's a lot of cleanup duty. And your dragon form in particular, are you able to control it, or does it usually go berserk every now and then?
Well, as I am now, since it is tied to my own emotions, sadly I do go a little crazy when I fully lose myself. But in my own world, when I'm normally in my full form, I'm fine. I'm fully in control. It wasn't until I got to the dimension I'm in now that I began to experience really extreme emotion at all.
Hmm. Would you say it's like an imbalance in mana or something that affects
I
you.
think so because the world I'm in, there's not really magic. I mean, there is, but it's really small.
Hmm.
And so I think it really is just there is no outlet anymore for the energy in me. And so if it's not being constantly like gotten rid of through my own field or through using it, it comes out of me in sort of short bursts of various emotions.
Let's see. And above all else, I doubt that you're kind of holding out alone. But have like made some friends along the way in your time on this other dimension?
I mean, sure, people, the whole underground of magical beings and magic users and mad scientists. It's interesting what you find when you are on the outside of society, sort of when you're truly on the outside. There's lots of people that want to get off the grid and get rid of their fingerprint and everything, but there's no real way to do that under the current panopticon. But people like me, people that truly are not of this world or that have become something else, there's a whole society of us, and it's been really nice being able to meet those people and share hobbies with them. Have them try to kill me occasionally, which is fine. I get it.
What?
It's a little. Oh, just listen. I'm a random dragon lady. There's lots of necromancers. I am very good for part harvesting. I totally get it. I'm not even offended. I'm flattered, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had two people try to kill me for parts, and I get it. Again, I'm flattered.
It just feels like the way that you casually said it just kind of.
I say everything pretty casually. I don't hold things in. I don't really hold grudges. Everything's casual for me because it happened before.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's a lot of interesting experience at that point.
I watched like my entire species die. What's like a couple of guys in an alley going, "Oh, they've got a nice set of arms. I could take those." What's that to me? That's just Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is indeed a Tuesday.
A lot of wizards, a lot of fake wizards. I'm never gonna be that person that walks up and sees you saying you're a wizard and be like, "Oh yeah, cast 10 spells." But like, if you say you're a wizard, and I'm like, "Are you a wizard? Or like, are you a warlock? Are you a sorcerer? Are you a witch? Are you just like a demigod? Are you an alchemist? Like, are you actually a wizard?" And you're like, "I'm actually a wizard." And I'm like, "So you're not an alchemist?" And you're like, "I'm not an alchemist. I'm a wizard." And then I go, "Okay, what kind of magic do you do?" And you pull out a potion set. Come on, man! Just say what you are. It's fine. It's not embarrassing.
It just make sense.
I've met like 100 self-proclaimed wizards. I've met 3 wizards. Not here, at least, obviously.
Right.
Or I mean a lot. If all you can do is cast an illumination spell, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. There's like no mana here. Don't say you're a wizard if you're like, "Oh, I can make a drink that will make you resist cold for 30 minutes." That's great. That's really cool. Not a wizard.
You're just essentially a potion seller, an alchemist, if anything.
Potion sellers are great. I love them. It's a great business.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they hate having that one guy just come in and say, "I want your strongest potions." Just every single day.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much everywhere, though. You can't go to an underground market without having people that have just found it going, "Oh, give me your strongest this, give me your strongest that." But people don't realize is your body has to be able to take those magical energies and actually contain them. Most sellers now will just let you die.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after all those lawsuits a few years ago. "Oh, you're not selling to me because I'm from this place." No, I'm not selling to you because you're 11. Fine, take the potion, Timmy. "Oh, you exploded? Who could have guessed?
Who could have thunk it?
Who could have told you?"
Yep. It's
Probably the guy that told you.
Yeah. I mean, they could have, but they just ran out of patience. They just said, "Hey, fine, just go along. Just
I'm
go nuts."
I'm not selling you the cursed sword of unbreathing yodeling because I don't like your hairstyle. I'm not selling it to you because you're a species that needs to breathe, and if you stop breathing to yodel forever while holding a sword, you will die. And I care if you die.
Nope.
Real sword, real incident. That thing was hard to break. We had to destroy the thing. People would hear the name, think it was a joke, put their hand on it.
I'm pretty sure that led to the unfortunate
Once you
yodeling
grab it,
incident.
once you can't grab it, you can't let go. You yodel until you die. I mean, you can use the sword. It's a really good sword. It can deflect most forms of missile, but you're also yodeling nonstop and you can't breathe.
Hmm.
If you need to breathe, don't pick up a thing that says of unbreathing or of non-breathing, of the breathless. Come on, y'all. It's easy. It's something you wouldn't drink a drink called the poison of killing you completely to death. Well, not again.
I mean,
We don't make that potion anymore. We just don't do that.
yeah, I think that would be a bit of a health hazard, if anything.
Weirdly does not do what you think it does. It does just turn you into a worm.
It does.
Yeah. No, it was called that because people kept buying it to test their boyfriends.
Oh,
So we changed the name. But then people kept buying it still. I don't know. People kept thinking it's, a misnomer, which it is, but, not for a positive thing.
mm-hmm.
People would come in and say, that's too cliche. There's no way this potion is anything bad. It's a trick. You're testing me to see if I can find a good potion. And it's like, not testing you, not a trick. Just don't want you to drink this. It's there for your enemies. Don't use it for yourself. Oh, I'm going to drink it because they call us Fey folk a lot. Not all of us are Fey, man. That's really disrespectful, actually.
Now that you mentioned it about the whole turning into worm thing, it also kind of explains why there's been an influx of people just asking whether you would just love them if they were still a worm.
Oh, it's the opposite. People began asking that. It became a trend, and the magical folk picked it up. Magical folk love the internet.
Oh God,
Love the internet.
a little bit too much.
That's the thing. People are so online. They come in and they think that we're all like tricksters and trying to get them. We're not trying to get you. We're trying to get you to leave mostly.
Yeah,
When
amicably.
mortals find the shops, it's the worst.
Wonder how that goes.
Usually poorly. We want to rush them out of those kinds of things. One, because you really shouldn't be there. Like something will eat you. There are bad people, or someone will kill you to graft your arms onto something. And two, again, buying bad stuff. I will say, we had one person buy a cursed amulet. We've still not gotten back, and now he runs a social media website, but cannot make good decisions anymore. Again, don't steal cursed artifacts.
I guess that name of the cursed artifact was the medallion of poor decisions.
No. It didn't really have a name. It was just there. It had marked on it what it did. It does 3 things. You always make the worst choice in every situation. Your hair grows back, which is great. I mean, good for you on that. And you lose your eyesight by 70.
Oh, dude.
That's it. It was an accident. It was in a bin of things that were just for going back to the forges to throw back into the fires.
Mm-hmm.
He just stole it. Just stole it and ran.
Well, I'm pretty sure whoever stole that amulet is definitely having the greatest time of their life in the worst ways possible.
He seems to be. Anyway, yeah, I don't go to the markets a lot anymore because I have my own shop to run.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's certainly a place.
So,
That and again, people trying to catch me and use me for parts, like I said, very flattering. It's very annoying. Yeah, I mean, you have to kill them every time, right? Because if you don't, now they know what you look like and they can scribe for you. It's a whole ordeal, and now I've got to deal with the body and yes, I'm allowed to defend myself at the market, but I don't want to keep killing people. That's not what I'm here for. Go about your necromancing. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't judge.
Just do it in peace.
Yeah. Dude, there's tons of dead bodies. When I die, if I die here, totally go for it. I don't care.
But I guess those necromancers don't exactly want to deal with any kind of liches either.
You know what's really offensive? I am a graft donor. It's our version of an organ donor. They're allowed to harvest my parts when I die. I've already given the permission, and they keep trying to kill me early anyway. How rude!
And that's definitely rude and absolutely unfathomable that they'll try to get. Well, I guess there are some benefits if much fresher organs, but even then, that's also kind of playing it very dangerously when someone is very still capable of killing your ass.
Exactly. You'd think the first time I turned one of them to gold and spent 2 hours breaking them into pieces, people would have gotten the message.
I guess their brains don't work as they think once they see gold.
You ever feed somebody their own gold-plated finger? The look on the face of everyone around you tells you they're not forgetting. They're not forgetting this.
Yep, they'll never forget.
Well, either way, depressing topics aside, yeah, shop is great.
Okay. So I think we are now in a good point to do our Q&A section. I can check in our database to see if we have any, but if anybody is in the chat currently to provide some questions for Aike, feel free. We could just take a bit of a small break in between as well, and yeah, we can go from there. So, all right, take your time.
Sorry, I'm looking for questions as well.
Okay.
Oh, there's one. I think you just asked it though, did you?
I'll say I think she's typing it out in the moment.
Well, I know that I believe Hippo in our chat has asked what my workout routine is.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the day. But my general everyday routine that I think everyone should take part in is that I walk for 2 miles and then I jog a half mile. I do 2 sets of 30 push-ups each day, one in the morning and then one after breakfast. It's kind of fun for me to see what I can do pre and post meal. I do 2 sets of 20 sit-ups. I do 2 sets of 30 crunches. And then I spend usually an hour or 2 a day just casually lifting the 15-pound weight that I keep in my desk. Anytime that I'm streaming or not using one of my hands, I'm lifting it. It's not really good for you long term, but every couple of days it's fine to do. Otherwise, though, your workout routine should really, I don't know, be based on yourself. For me, it's just whatever my trainer tells me to do that day. I don't really have my routine memorized. I have a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to work out till I came here either. I really think this world is just sapping the magic from me. Without circuits in her body, get a larger man. I'm trying to find a cure for it through science. Have you heard of anything of the sort? So occasionally dragons would be born without the ability to store their own mana. The way that we would take care of this is by having them just... I mean, we have breath that, contains most of our magical essence. We would just shoot that into the air occasionally. I would say look for some way they can expel it that is non-harmful, or possibly even helpful. I have the whole gold breath thing. That was pretty useful for temporarily holding things in place or creating small structures temporarily. Mud breath dragons were great at filling in land and, creating extra land near, water spots. Dragons with water breath were really good at just turning wheels for us, helping create energy. There's lots of ways you can get mana out that way. I was looking for dragon... Well, how do you feel about bone-crazy lizards? Like lizards that are crazy for bones? I'm a lizard that's crazy for bones. I think they're great. Everyone's crazy. Bones are cool. What kind of crazy for bones? Like eating them? Like for a project, you said? I don't know. Source them ethically, trying to kill anyone that doesn't deserve it?
I mean, there's that.
Did you know that giraffes eat more bones recreationally than any other wild animal on any version of Earth?
Really?
Yep. Giraffes eat more bones than any other wild animal recreationally. Other animals do eat them more in captivity because, most humans feed pets bones or some form of bone. Most humans eat some form of bone. And also, non-recreationally, there are lots of animals that eat more bones, obviously, like owls.
Mm-hmm.
But recreationally, giraffes eat more bones than any other wild animal on every version of Earth. Giraffes will eat anything they need for their diet. They're herbivores, but they're not obligate herbivores. So they can eat meat and they can eat living tissue. and they don't like waste. So when a body is left out, giraffes will eat it.
That's actually horrifying. But
Yeah,
intriguing at the
giraffes
same time.
are very interesting animals. Has a necromancer who thinks of bones. Oh, he's a necromancer who thinks of bones as his friends, and he wants to raise a bone dragon. But he keeps getting into trouble, so hearing about your donor status might help him. I mean, I personally find that a little offensive, but only if, like, you're making, like, up a dragon that you're being weird about. If you're not being weird about it, or you're just raising an actual dragon, that's fine. I don't care. I don't judge. If I ever get back to my world, I'm sure there'll be a few. You know, we just had bone dragons. Bone breath is crazy, by the way. I think people here use bone meal for like food and such. That was their breath weapon, was just bone meal.
Just tiny shards of bone just getting thrown at you.
Well, like the ground up powder. It's why my earth was so verdant. Everything was covered in bone meal. Really good for plant growth, and you can imagine what a species full of things that can breathe it could do.
Yep. Lots of prosperity and lots of green thumbs.
Lots of plants.
Plenty of plants.
Oh, hi, Kitski. Kitski pops into chat when I stream to this dimension sometimes.
Oh, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Any more questions, everyone?
Feel
I
free.
can't answer everything fully, but I'm happy to answer what I can.
Yep.
Well, happy to have you here.
Truly. Welcome to the fray, Kiski.
I'm gonna keep checking the tag.
Okay. Let me also...
I think it's still just a one, sadly.
Yep.
Everyone, feel free to ask away. Make things up if you have to. I don't care.
Yep, we're just going by the hem of our pants at this point.
Otherwise, though, I'm happy to do whatever while you still have me.
Okay.
I have nothing else going on tonight.
I guess we can...
Don't forget to drink, you two. Stay hydrated. I've literally finished 2 bottles of water while I've been on. I drink a lot of water. Gotta stay hydrated for muscle growth.
Yeah, but I should drink some water at this point because I think I've been sitting here for quite some time, and I think I haven't even drank a bit of it the entire day, so...
Actually, there's a fun fact for you about the whole workout routine thing. You need to be well hydrated, and you need to be sleeping properly, or your working out literally does nothing for you. Your body will panic, it will begin to store things it shouldn't be storing, and your muscles will not heal properly. Because working out is hurting yourself on purpose to then heal back stronger. And if you're not doing the healing part of that, you're just hurting yourself.
And that's no fun, especially that could lead to much more significant injuries down the line, so...
Oh yeah.
I should take my own advice, to be quite honest, because I've been having a really bad habit of just sleeping a little bit too late.
Sleeping a little bit late is fine. It's the not sleeping that gets people. And not sleeping on time. Don't worry about society's clock when it comes to when you need to sleep. Worry about your own rhythm. You'll know when you're tired by the fact that you're tired. When you feel tired, turn off your screens if you can. Go to bed. Try not to drink anything with like an hour of going to bed. Try to eat anything within a few hours of going to bed if you can avoid it. I know in like modern society, a lot of people have to work really long hours or like have weird dietary schedules. Totally fine. I'm not judging you. But you can do these things to help yourself recover better and like have a better life. Siege or corn? Oh, blood for the blood god, skull for the skull throne. So fun fact, we had those phrases back where I come from, but they were a much more positive meaning. It was just ritualistic for when a dragon was towards the end of their life to bleed out and be sort of recycled. Coming to Earth, I would say it, and I was introduced to the game Warhammer 40k because people thought that I knew what I was talking about. But yes, corn all the way.
So that makes me the only one that doesn't really know much about the Warhammer series, but hey, I might actually be interested in just get myself immersed into it.
Warhammer is an interesting story. A thing to know before getting into it is that it's very self-aware, and nobody is the good guys. You're supposed to hate everyone. If you find yourself actually empathizing with and liking a faction that isn't like the regular people in Warhammer, you should go to therapy. The closest thing to an empathetic being, like there's maybe 3 characters that are kind of empathetic. And they'd be like Rabute Gilliman, who his whole thing is he thinks maybe the Empire is like not good, which he's correct. Or 4 really. There's Vulcan, the original, not Vulcan Histan, who same thing as Rabute, thinks the Empire might actually not be good, maybe. Both think that xenophobia might be bad, maybe. There's Nurgle, who just a thing to know about the Chaos entities is that they don't have the same morality as us. They don't do those things because they're evil. They do those things because that's what they do. Khorne is the only one I might call evil because he actively takes pleasure in cruelty and violence. So he has to know what cruelty is. Nurgle thinks he's doing us all a favor. When you are poisoned or given a pox by Nurgle, it feels good. It's canonical in their lore that it feels good to be a worshiper of Nurgle. Sure, you are sick, you are hurting, you are injured, you are ugly, but to you it's bliss. There's characters described as having beehives for chests.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They feel good. And then there is oh god, I said 4 and I have forgotten the 4. Oh, Celestine, the Living Saint, who is maybe a warp being and has died like thousands of times. Whenever she dies, she reawakens on a planet that is covered in her own corpses on top of the pile of her own corpses.
So it's just corpses on top of corpses.
Yeah, the Tau. The Tau used to be the good guys. Like, they were cops, but like, they were cops in a universe where being cops is a good thing. Because they were what cops are supposed to be. They just wanted to protect people. And people didn't like that it wasn't grimdark enough, and that there was a good guy. Mostly because Tau players were insufferable about it. And so they changed the Tau to be like a fascist panopticon dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tau were originally good guys. One thing that makes people uncomfortable a little is that there's a lot of inspiration taken from factions around World War II and the Cold War. You're supposed to not like it. But the problem is a lot of people like it. Using mechs not for melee? Listen, the Tau don't use mechs not for melee. They do in fact use mechs for melee. Covering fire, in my opinion, still a melee tactic. Because they're using it to get in there. But the ground troops with the marker rifles, those things are annoying.
And what exactly are marker rifles?
So marker rifles, in Warhammer 40k, they are used to create what's called a marker. Or they're called marker lights usually, but they make what is called a marker. The more markers something has, the more bonuses anything shooting at that target gets. And these go pretty high. So what can look like a pretty non-offensive, easy-to-fight army can quickly turn into an unstoppable force if they get their marker lights in the right positions. Tech is a different game. Wait, what? There's also a lot of things I don't know about the Tau just because they're one of my least favorite factions. I've only known 4 Tau players, and they all made me want to crush their skull. I have not liked any Tau player I've met. They are some of the most insufferable players because their whole thing is, our faction are the good guys, right? You're all playing the bad guys. You know versus the good guys, right? And it's like, man, go away. Like, I don't know what's worse. Like, it's like, yeah, there's them, and like, there's the Nazis, and like, it's like a toss-up. It's like a coin flip. It's a joke. Obviously, one is worse than the other. The Tau players.
Yep.
Do not quote me on that. I'm not saying that playing the Tau makes me worse than not. That is a joke.
Uh-oh. Careful. It's gonna.
The Krieg are interesting because they definitely look. They're meant to look like Cold War soldiers. They definitely just look kind of like what people imagine Nazis looked like. They're not supposed to, but they do look that way, and being named Krieg does not help. But they are an interesting faction. They're like if guardsmen were somewhat stronger, or at least they used to be that way, and now they're just guardsmen. Guardsmen are the these are just people faction.
Right.
Astartes, the big space marines, are not humans. They are, I mean, genetic freaks pretty much. They've got like extra hearts, extra stomachs, tons of extra organs, like metal infrastructure in their body, and most Astartes wear their suits for life. Once they're big enough to wear their suit, they wear it forever.
Wow. So
a lot of them wear like an exoskin that makes them stronger and faster and everything. They're really interesting. In fact, the big difference between most Astartes factions in the Empire and then the Salamanders and the Ultramarines and the other factions some other factions a little bit, mostly those two, is that most Space Marines do not give a shit about people. The Empire is sort of two different things. Or the Imperium. The Imperium, to many people, is the Imperium itself. The scope of the Empire and the religion. And to some people, like a lot of tech priests, like the Ultramarines, like the Salamanders, it's the human beings within it. So to those factions, there's no Imperium without the people. So there's no point in not defending the people. And the Salamanders and the Ultramarines will even go so far as to work with Xenos, if it means saving people. Whereas a lot of factions, people are not the Imperium, and their job is to defend the Imperium and the ideals of the Imperium. So if people have to die, so be it.
All for necessary good at that point.
Well, no. The Empire would be fine if they weren't invading people, honestly. Well, they would have been. Now they wouldn't be because, the universe is broken, but it also wasn't supposed to be a religion at first. The Emperor did not want it to be a religion, but he's kind of fallen for his own propaganda. Doesn't help that he's basically a skeleton now.
And we'll just take one more comment or question.
Sorry. Yeah. Any more comments, questions? Because I will ramble about 40K and hobby stuff all day.
That might be just a podcast at this point where I'm just going to be...
It's just you sitting there while I ramble about 40K. Corpse God life support. Yeah. Fun fact, by the way, he's been alive and able to talk the whole time. He just didn't feel like it. So he's been quote-unquote dead for 10,000 years and on life support. Yeah, it turns out he's been able to talk to people and do things the whole time. He just didn't. He also refers to all the Primarchs besides Gilliman, the leaders of the different factions, by name. He still refers to Gilliman by number. And Gilliman fucking hates him. For the last 10,000 years, actually, Gilliman has been away doing something, so is Vulcan. No one really knows where Vulcan is. Gilliman's back. He was asleep, I think. Gilliman's back, though, and recovered. Meanwhile, Belisarius Cawl has been slowly building him an army that is not loyal to the Imperium, that is now known as the Adeptus Mechanicus. And they are one of the best factions in the game, actually, really frustratingly. They gave all the old, Necron and Tau mechanics to the Mechanicus, and then made the Tau and the Necrons a lot worse. Just for no reason. Too fair. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to take over your stream.
That's all good.
Are there more questions or anything, anybody? For me, for Ost?
Yeah, I did see a question from Kitsuki inside the tag.
I didn't see it.
Can dragons from your species consume sand?
We can consume pretty much anything in our dragon form. In our dragon form, we don't need to eat. We just can. Can I eat sand? Yes. Will I eat sand? No. But yes, we can eat sand. We can eat lead. We can eat glass. I'm not going to do these things. They don't taste very good. But I can.
All right. So, that's that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful time with the stream. Thank you, Aike, for joining me for this interview.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And if you are interested in joining Aike for any further streams, actually, do you have anything planned somewhere down the line?
Stream-wise, I mean, I usually do stream on Saturdays, but I'm not today. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday is Magic the Gathering. And this next Friday, I'm drawing people as truck nuts. So if you want to get it on that, look out for the promo post that I'll probably make tomorrow morning.
Okay, and let me also post the. Let me do a shout out.
Thank you, Ace.
Hopefully I got that right. Nope.
Worshipping the Emperor is heresy, but also not worshipping the Emperor is heresy. Because the universe makes very little sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I'm getting asked 40k questions. Come to one of my streams and ask me 40k questions. I'll answer all the 40k questions you want. Or get Oates into it. Like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be making it the agenda in order to just get me into 40k. And honestly, I might actually try Dark Tide too.
Dark Tide is fun. It crashes a lot, and most computers have a really hard time running it.
Oh.
It's $40. I would just say give it 1 hour. And if you don't like it, and if your computer's crashing a lot within that, you're never going to make it better, return it.
Mm-hmm. Good to
I'm
know.
still playing it, because my computer can run it, but like a lot of my friends have had to stop playing it.
Right. And there's also Vermintide too as another option.
Oh yeah, Vermintide 2 is great. Also buggy, but it runs way better.
Mm-hmm. And it plays a little bit like Left 4 Dead too, so that's another fun thing we can do.
Yeah.
But that's all, folks. Thanks for coming in for the first ever episode of In Character Universe. We hope that you enjoy and join us for the next one. Take care and good night. Still should have brought those s'mores. Would have been worth it for the campfire.
Oh, probably. I should have brought hot dogs.
Ah, that too. Maybe some kielbasa. Yeah.
I guess I'll make myself dinner when I get back to wherever I'm from. Where I say wherever I'm from, because I don't know if I'm going back there or not. These portals are weird.
Yeah, it could be a little bit interesting. I might have to go to like the markets in order to find some food to eat.
Good luck.
Alrighty. You'll be good.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Take care.
Yeah.